If I please you tonight, will you be mine forever? Secret of a young Apache. The sun was just beginning to dip behind the reddish hills that surrounded the small Apache community. Its light poured over the desert in soft golden streaks, touching the dusty paths and the adobe homes where families had lived for generations. In one of these homes lived Lena, a young Apache girl with bright eyes that seemed to notice everything. Even at her age, she was curious about the world beyond her small village. She loved her family deeply, but she often found herself daydreaming about what life might be like outside the hills and deserts she had always known. Lena's mornings began early. She helped her mother gather water from the nearby stream and prepare simple meals. She would run errands for her father, who often asked her to carry small bundles of firewood or help with the garden. Though her tasks were ordinary, Lena always performed them with care and attention. She had learned that in her community, respect and responsibility were important. Every small action mattered, not just for her family, but for everyone around her. Despite her busy life, Lena often stole moments to explore her surroundings. She wandered along dusty trails lined with sagebrush and cacti, her small hands brushing against the spiky leaves as she walked. Birds would dart past her in the orange sky, and she would pause to watch them, imagining where they were going and what adventures they might have. Sometimes she would climb the low hills that ring the village and sit quietly, listening to the wind whistle through the rocks. Those moments were her own, a time to dream and think about things she did not fully understand yet. Feelings, love, and the bonds between people. Her family had always spoken to her about Apache traditions. Her father, a stern but caring man, often reminded her of the stories of their ancestors, stories of bravery, loyalty, and the responsibilities of living in the community. Her mother, gentle and wise, shared lessons about kindness, patience, and understanding. Lena loved listening to these stories, but she sometimes felt that there was more to life than following rules and traditions. She wanted to understand her own heart, her own thoughts, and her own emotions. It was during one quiet evening that Lena first felt a new kind of curiosity. She had been helping her mother prepare dinner, chopping vegetables and stirring a pot of stew, when she overheard a conversation between two older women in the courtyard. Their voices were low, but Lena could hear enough to catch the meaning. They spoke about love, commitment, and relationships. One woman spoke about the importance of trust and honesty, while the other spoke about the expectations placed upon women. Lena's ears perked up. Add to what she talked about in the details, but she felt a spark of curiosity. What did it mean to truly care for someone? How did one know if they were loved in return? Lena thought about Tomas, a young man from her community. They had grown up seeing each other around the village, sometimes playing games as children, sometimes helping with chores during festivals and community events. He was quiet but kind, always willing to lend a hand. Recently, Lena had noticed him more than before. There was a certain warmth in his smile that made her heart flutter, and she felt a strange excitement whenever their eyes met. She wondered if he felt the same way, though she did not know how to find out. That night, as the village settled into silence and the stars began to appear in the clear desert sky, Lena lay on her small mat in her room. She thought about the conversation she had overheard, about the stories her parents had told her, and about her feelings for Thomas. Her heart was full of questions. Was it normal to feel this way at her age? Did love mean the same thing for everyone, or was it different for each person? Could she ever speak honestly about her feelings without being judged? The next morning, Lena went about her usual tasks, but her mind was elsewhere. She noticed the way the wind moved the dry grasses, the sound of the stream bubbling over stones, and the laughter of children playing nearby. Everything seemed sharper, more vivid, as if the world itself was reminding her that life was full of possibilities. She watched Thomas from a distance, helping his family carry baskets of harvested vegetables. She admired his strength and kindness, and she secretly hoped he might notice her too. Days passed, and Lena found herself seeking small ways to be near Tomas. She offered to help him carry water, shared fruit from her family's garden, and laughed at his gentle jokes. Each moment together made her heart beat faster, though she kept her feelings carefully hidden. She did not yet know how to express them or whether it was right to do so. She simply cherished the small, stolen moments where they could talk, smile, and enjoy each other's company. At night, Lena would sit under the stars, letting the cool desert air brush against her face. She thought about her ancestors and the lessons they had left behind. They spoke of courage, honor, and understanding. Lena realized that to understand love, she needed courage, not just to feel, but to acknowledge her feelings and to respect the feelings of others. She wondered if Tomas felt the same mixture of excitement and fear that she did. Did he notice the way his presence made her heart race? Did he, too, dream of a connection that went beyond friendship? One afternoon, as Lena helped her mother prepare herbs for the evening meal, she asked a simple question, testing the waters. "Mother," she said quietly, "how does one know if someone truly cares for them?" Her mother looked at her, a soft smile on her face. "It is in the way they listen to you, the way they respect you, and the way they make you feel safe," she explained. "It is not just words, child. Actions show the truth." Lena nodded, absorbing every word. She understood that love was not just a feeling, it was a choice and a responsibility. In the days that followed, Lena's curiosity grew. She noticed the little things Tomas did, how he helped elders without being asked, how he shared his laughter and joy with everyone, and how he treated everyone with respect. Lena began to feel that love might not be something distant or impossible. It might be something real, something that could be nurtured through honesty, kindness, and courage. By the time the sun sank behind the western hills once again, Lena felt a new determination inside her. She did not yet know how she would express her feelings, but she knew she wanted to try. She wanted to understand herself, to understand Tomas, and to explore the bond that had quietly begun to grow between them. She realized that every story she had heard, of bravery, of honesty, of love, was now becoming her own story. And though she was still young, she felt ready to face the challenges, the excitement, and the mysteries of her own heart. That night, Lena lay on her mat, staring at the stars. She thought about the world beyond the hills, about the lessons her parents had given her, and about the quiet spark of hope she felt in her chest. She did not know what the future would bring, but she was certain of one thing. She wanted to understand her own heart, and the heart of the boy who had captured her curiosity and admiration. With a deep breath, she whispered into the quiet desert air, "One day, I will know." And for the first time, Lena felt that the world held more than chores and stories. It held secrets, emotions, and the possibility of love, waiting quietly for those brave enough to seek it. The days following Lena's quiet realization under the stars were filled with a new energy. She woke with a lighter step, her mind buzzing with thoughts of Tomas. Even as she helped her mother sweep the floor or her father repair the fence, her heart drifted to the boy who had captured her curiosity. She noticed every little thing about him now, the way his hands worked quickly but gently when tending to chores, the way his laugh carried across the dusty village, the way his eyes seemed to see the world with kindness. Tomas, too, had begun noticing Lena more than before. He admired her quiet strength and the way she carried herself, thoughtful and careful yet full of life. Their interactions during chores became more frequent, more meaningful. A shared smile while carrying baskets of vegetables, a quick laugh over a small joke, the simple touch of hands as they helped each other cross a stream. All of these moments felt charged with something neither of them fully understood yet. It was during the preparation for the seasonal festival that their bond grew stronger. The entire village was bustling with activity. Families were making decorations, preparing food, and teaching the younger children dances and songs passed down from generations. Lena and Tomas found themselves paired for several tasks, whether carrying bundles of dried corn or arranging colorful banners along the central plaza. "Careful with that basket," Thomas said one morning, his voice soft but steady. "You don't want it to tip." Lena laughed, feeling a thrill in the way he spoke. "I can manage," she replied, though her hands shook slightly from excitement and nervousness. "You can," Tomas agreed, smiling. "I just want to make sure you're safe." Those words lingered in Lena's mind long after the moment passed. She realized that his concern for her went beyond simple friendship. There was care in his actions, a quiet attentiveness, that made her heart beat faster. But she also felt fear. Fear of saying too much too soon. Fear of being misunderstood. Fear of the gossip that could rise in the close-knit village if anyone noticed her feelings. Despite her fears, Lena began to test small boundaries. She stayed close to Tomas when the other children played nearby, occasionally brushing against him as they passed baskets or exchanged laughter. She discovered that the smallest gestures, holding an eye contact a little longer, offering a shared snack, whispering a secret joke, carried a weight of meaning that words sometimes could not convey. One evening after a long day of festival preparations, Lena and Tomas found themselves walking along a quiet trail just outside the village. The sun had begun to set, painting the sky in brilliant shades of pink and orange. The air was warm but comfortable, and the soft sounds of the desert, wind rustling through the sagebrush, the distant call of a bird, made everything feel calm and timeless.
"I never realized how beautiful it can be outside the village," Lena said, her voice almost a whisper.
Thomas glanced at her, noticing the light in her eyes. "Sometimes we are so busy with our tasks that we forget to look around," he said. "It's easy to miss simple beauty." Lena nodded, her heart pounding. There was a pause between them, a quiet space filled with unspoken thoughts. She wanted to ask him something bold, but the words felt heavy on her tongue. She was unsure if he felt the same way she did, unsure if the spark she noticed in him was real or just imagined. Days turned into weeks, and their connection deepened. They began spending more time together, even outside chores and festival duties. They would sit by the stream, skipping stones across the water, or explore the low hills surrounding the village. In these moments, Lena felt free to laugh, to speak her mind, and to share small secrets. Tomas, in turn, seemed to relax around her, his usual reserved demeanor softening. Yet, with every step closer, Lena felt the weight of uncertainty. She knew the community valued tradition and propriety. Questions about feelings and love were delicate, especially for someone her age. She worried that a single mistake could lead to misunderstandings or judgment. Still, the desire to express her feelings, to reach out and bridge the quiet distance between them, grew stronger each day. It was on a particularly warm evening, as the festival lights flickered in the village plaza, that Lena found herself alone with Thomas once more. The crowd had thinned, and the laughter and music faded into the soft hum of crickets. They had been walking along a narrow trail near the edge of the desert, the horizon glowing with the last light of the sun. Lena felt her pulse quicken. This was her moment, yet fear held her back. Thomas stopped and turned to her, his expression gentle but searching. "Lena," he said softly, "is something on your mind? You seem different today." Lena swallowed hard, the words she had rehearsed in her mind all day trembling on her lips. She looked into his eyes, seeing not just curiosity, but a warmth and patience that encouraged her to speak honestly. Finally, in a voice barely above a whisper, she asked the question that had haunted her thoughts for days. "If I please you tonight, will you be mine forever?" The words hung in the air between them, charged with courage, fear, and longing. Thomas blinked, caught off guard by the boldness of her question. For a long moment he said nothing, his eyes searching hers as if trying to read her heart directly. Lena's own heart raced, and she realized that in asking she had revealed not just desire but trust, a trust that Tomas would respond with honesty and respect. Tomas's voice was steady when he finally spoke, though there was a softness in it that made Lena's chest tighten. "Lena, that is a very brave question," he said. "You have nothing to fear in asking it." "I need time to think, to understand my own feelings, and to ensure that I am worthy of your trust." Lena nodded, though her heart ached with longing. She understood his hesitation. She respected it. Love, she realized, was not just about immediate desire, but about care, respect, and honesty. By asking, she had taken the first step in understanding herself and opening the possibility of something real. For several days after that evening, Lena felt a mixture of hope and anxiety. She continued her daily tasks with a new sense of purpose, often glancing at Tomas when he was nearby. She observed him helping elders, laughing gently with younger children, and sharing quiet moments with friends. Each action reassured her that his heart was kind and honorable, even if he had not yet spoken words of commitment. The village, as always, was a place of constant motion. People prepared for the festival, tending to decorations, food, and music. Lena and Tomas worked side by side, their connection growing quietly with each shared task. They spoke less of their feelings in public, knowing the delicate balance between personal emotions and community expectations. Yet in every glance, every small gesture, they communicated a growing understanding of one another. One evening, Lena sat with her mother by the fire, sharing stories of her day. She spoke of Tomas carefully, avoiding details that might be judged. Her mother listened with quiet attention, sensing the shift in Lena's heart. "You have a brave heart, my daughter," she said. "Courage is not only in facing danger but in being honest with your own heart. Whatever path you take, remember to honor yourself and the feelings of others." Lena nodded, feeling the truth in her mother's words. She realized that the question she had asked Tomas was only the beginning. Love, she now understood, required patience, understanding, and courage. It required listening, observing, and acting with care. She could not rush it, but she could nurture it, tending to it gently like the herbs and plants she helped her mother grow. As the festival drew closer, Lena and Tomas continued to share quiet moments together, walking along moonlit trails, helping set up lanterns, and exchanging small smiles that carried more meaning than words. Each moment strengthened their bond, building trust and understanding. The air between them was charged with anticipation, a silent promise that something important was unfolding. By the time the festival began, Lena felt a mixture of excitement and calm. She knew that whatever happened, she had taken a step toward understanding her own heart. The question she had asked Tomas remained unanswered in words, but in the gentle ways he treated her, she felt a promise of care and respect. She understood that love was not just about instant answers or bold declarations. It was about observing, waiting, and allowing the bond to grow naturally. And so, Lena stepped into the festival, her heart light yet full of longing, her mind filled with hope and curiosity. She did not yet know Tomas's answer, but she knew that the journey of understanding, of courage, honesty, and connection had begun. Every laugh, every shared glance, and every quiet moment together was part of a story that was just beginning, a story of trust, respect, and the gentle unfolding of young love. The days after Lena's bold question to Thomas were full of quiet tension and hidden thoughts. Lena tried to continue with her daily tasks, helping her family with chores and attending the preparations for the festival. But her mind kept drifting back to the moment she had asked Thomas if he would be hers forever. Every time she caught sight of him, her heart leapt, and yet a small thread of fear ran through her. She worried that he might think her question was too bold, or that she had crossed a line. Tomas, for his part, was wrestling with his own emotions. He admired Lena's courage, her honesty, and the way her presence seemed to brighten even the simplest moments. Yet he also felt the weight of responsibility. In their close-knit Apache community, actions and words carried meaning, and gossip could spread quickly. He did not want to hurt Lena, but he also knew that giving the wrong answer, or answering too soon, could lead to misunderstandings. Every time they met, their interactions were charged with a mixture of excitement and caution. They laughed together, shared small jokes, and walked side by side, yet both held back, careful not to reveal too much. Their shared glances, gentle touches, and quiet smiles spoke volumes, but the community around them remained a constant presence. One morning, Lena overheard a few villagers talking near the stream. They whispered about her, about how brave and bold she had been, and about the question she had asked Tomas. Some voices were kind, admiring her courage, but others carried a hint of judgment. Lena felt a pang of fear. She had known that asking such a question might draw attention, but hearing it spoken aloud by others made her heart ache. She rushed home, trying to focus on her chores, but the words lingered in her mind. Her mother noticed her distraction and asked softly, "Is something troubling you, Lena?"
Lena hesitated, unsure how much to reveal. "Just
"People talking," she said finally. "About me." Her mother nodded thoughtfully.
People will always talk, my daughter. What matters is what you know in your heart and how you treat others.
Courage is not only in bold words, but in staying true to yourself. Lena absorbed her mother's words, letting them settle into her heart. She realized that love and courage were intertwined, and that she would need both if she wanted to navigate her feelings and the expectations of her community. Meanwhile, Tomas sought advice from his father, a wise man respected by the village elders. They sat outside in the morning sun, watching the desert come alive with the sounds of birds and the wind. "Tomas," his father began, "I can see something weighs on you. You care for Lena, don't you?" Thomas nodded, looking at the horizon. "I do," he admitted. "But I am not sure how to respond to her question. She is brave, and I respect her, but I also do not want to make a mistake." That's father smiled gently. "Respect and honesty are your guides. You do not need to answer immediately. Observe, listen, and act with care. If your heart is true, she will understand. And remember, patience is part of love." Thomas felt a sense of relief. He now had guidance and clarity on how to approach the delicate situation. He realized that Lena's courage was not something to fear, but something to honor. He wanted to be worthy of her trust and her feelings. Despite the advice, the weight of gossip in the village continued to affect Lena. She felt eyes following her as she walked, whispers trailing her steps, and sometimes small, questioning glances from neighbors. It made her wonder if she had acted too boldly, if she had misjudged the right moment. But whenever she thought of Tomas, the tension eased. His kindness and the way he treated her with respect reminded her that her courage had not been in vain. One afternoon, Lena decided to visit the small hill outside the village, a place she often went to think. She brought with her a basket of herbs she had gathered with her mother, intending to dry them in the sun. She hoped the quiet would help her sort through her thoughts. As she reached the top, she saw Tomas sitting alone, gazing at the distant hills. He looked peaceful, yet there was a hint of concern in his eyes. Lena approached quietly, not wanting to startle him. "Tomas," she said softly, "I thought I might find you here." He looked up and smiled gently.
I like coming here to think, he admitted.
"It feels quiet, like the world is just still for a moment." Lena sat beside him, careful to keep a small distance, though she longed to be closer. They shared a comfortable silence, watching the desert stretch out before them. In that quiet, Lena felt a sense of connection, a bond that went beyond words. "I sometimes worry about what people think," Lena said after a moment, breaking the silence.
About what I said, and how I feel.
Tomas nodded, understanding. "I worry too," he admitted. "Not because of what you said, but because I care about you. I want to be honest and fair, and I do not want to hurt you or make things complicated with others." Lena felt a warmth spread through her chest. His words were honest, careful, and kind. They reflected the same patience and understanding that had drawn her to him in the first place. For the next few days, Lena and Tomas continued to spend time together, always in small, careful moments. They helped prepare for the festival, worked in the fields, and explored the desert trails. Each shared laugh, each small touch, and each glance carried more meaning than the words they did not yet speak aloud. Yet the pressure of expectations and the whispers of the village remained. Some villagers expressed admiration for Lena's courage, while others suggested she had acted too boldly. Lena felt a mixture of pride and anxiety. She knew that courage was important, but she also knew that wisdom and patience mattered. She could not rush Tomas, and she could not control the opinions of others. One evening, Lena's mother invited her to sit by the fire and speak openly. "You have shown bravery, Lena," she said, "but love is not only in bold words. It is in patience, observation, and respect. You must listen as well as speak, and you must act with care for yourself and for him." Lena nodded, understanding her mother's guidance. She realized that the journey of love was not simple or immediate. It required thought, courage, and respect for both her heart and Thomas's. She felt more determined than ever to honor both her feelings and his. Meanwhile, Tomas had begun to plan how he might respond. He wanted to ensure that his answer reflected his true feelings, his respect for Lena, and his awareness of the community's expectations. He sought quiet moments to think, often visiting the same hill where Lena had found him. He reflected on his growing admiration for her, the courage she had shown, and the respect he felt for her honesty. One afternoon, as Lena helped her mother dry herbs in the sun, Tomas appeared at the edge of the garden. "May I speak with you?" he asked politely. Lena's heart leapt. She nodded, setting down her basket. They walked together to a quiet spot beneath a large mesquite tree, the sunlight filtering softly through its branches. "I've been thinking about what you asked me," Thomas began, his voice gentle. "I want you to know that I respect your courage. Your honesty means more than words can say. I care for you deeply, and I want to be worthy of your trust." Lena listened, her chest tight with emotion. She felt a mixture of hope and nervousness, waiting for the words she had longed to hear. "I am not ready to give you an immediate answer about forever," Thomas continued. "It is a serious promise, and I must be certain. But I want you to know that I am yours in every way that matters right now. My respect, my care, and my honesty. I want to continue our journey together, slowly, so that when the time comes, we can be certain of our hearts." Lena felt a warmth spread through her chest. His words were not the immediate answer she had imagined, but they were more than she could have hoped for. They reflected patience, understanding, and a commitment to honesty. She realized that love was not a single moment or a single word. It was a series of choices, actions, and shared experiences. As they sat together beneath the tree, the desert wind rustling the leaves above them, Lena understood something important. Courage was not just in asking bold questions. It was in waiting, observing, and respecting both her own heart and the heart of the one she cared for. Tomas's response was a gift of trust, a promise of care, and a reflection of his own growing courage. The days that followed were filled with small, meaningful moments. They continued their chores together, walked along quiet desert trails, and shared laughter and stories. Each moment strengthened their bond, creating a foundation built on respect, patience, and understanding. And though the question of forever remained unanswered, Lena felt a growing certainty in her heart. Love, she realized, was not about rushing toward a final answer. It was about honoring each moment, each feeling, and each choice. With Tomas by her side, she knew that their story, full of courage, respect, and quiet understanding, was just beginning. The sun rose over the small Apache village, painting the adobe homes and dusty trails with soft gold. The morning air was cool, carrying the scent of sagebrush and freshly baked bread from the ovens. Lena woke early, her heart full of anticipation. Today felt different. There was a quiet electricity in the air, as if the world itself knew that something important was about to happen. She dressed carefully, her movements deliberate, but inside, she felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. For weeks, Lena had carried a quiet hope in her heart. The days since her bold question to Thomas had been full of small, meaningful moments, shared laughter, thoughtful conversations, and gentle glances, but she longed for clarity, for a deeper understanding of their bond. She knew that love was more than words. It was trust, patience, and respect. Yet she also understood that sometimes words were needed to confirm what the heart already felt. Tomas, too, felt the weight of the moment. He had spent long hours thinking, reflecting, and seeking guidance from his elders. He wanted his actions and words to match the honesty and courage that Lena had shown. He respected her deeply and cared for her with a sincerity that grew stronger with every passing day. Today, he had decided he would speak from his heart and ensure that Lena knew the truth of his feelings. Their meeting was arranged at the quiet hill overlooking the village, a place where they had often shared stolen moments away from the eyes of others. The sun was high in the sky, casting warm light across the desert. Lena arrived first, her hands clutching a small bouquet of wildflowers she had picked along the trail. She took a deep breath, trying to calm the fluttering in her chest. When Tomas arrived, his presence brought an immediate sense of calm. He smiled, a gentle warmth in his eyes, and approached her with care. "Good morning, Lena," he said softly, his voice carrying the respect and affection he felt for her. "Good morning, Tomas," Lena replied, feeling her heart beat faster. She held the bouquet out to him, a small gesture of friendship and connection. He accepted it with a bow of his head, his fingers brushing hers ever so lightly, sending a spark of electricity through her. They sat together on the sun-warmed rocks, the village stretching below them quiet and peaceful. For a moment neither spoke, allowing the beauty of the desert and the calm of the moment to settle around them. Lena felt a sense of serenity. She realized that love was not only in bold declarations but in quiet presence, in shared attention, and in the feeling of safety and trust. Finally Tomas spoke, his voice steady and sincere. "Lena, I have thought about your question every day since you asked it. I've reflected on my feelings, sought advice, and tried to understand the depth of what you asked. And I want you to know that my heart has been honest with me. I care for you deeply, more than words alone can describe." Lena's breath caught. She felt a mixture of relief and joy, her eyes shining with emotion. "Thomas," she whispered, unsure how to respond, yet feeling that her heart already understood what his words meant. He took a gentle breath and continued. "When you asked me if I would be yours forever, I realized that I want nothing more than to be with you. I want to honor your courage, your honesty, and the trust you have given me. I cannot promise forever lightly, for that is a sacred word. But I can promise you my heart, my respect, and my care. I want to walk this path with you, step by step, so that one day, when the time is right, we can truly understand what forever means." Lena felt tears prick the corners of her eyes. His words were careful, respectful, and full of love. They reflected the sincerity she had hoped for, and yet they carried a depth that went beyond simple promises. She realized that love was not about rushing or demanding immediate answers. It was about patience, understanding, and growing together.
I feel the same, Tomas,"
She said, her voice trembling with emotion. "I wanted to know your heart, and now I do. I want to be with you, to share my thoughts, my laughter, and my life with you. I want to grow together, to understand each other fully, and to face whatever comes with honesty and care." He reached out, taking her hand in his, and Lena felt a warmth spread through her body. The gesture was simple, yet it carried a weight of meaning, the promise of presence, trust, and partnership. They sat together, hand in hand, watching the desert stretch endlessly before them, feeling a connection that transcended words. In the days that followed, their relationship grew quietly, but steadily. They continued their chores and community responsibilities, their bond strengthening through shared work and mutual support. They walked together along trails, helped elders with tasks, and participated in festivals and celebrations, always mindful of their community's expectations while nurturing their own growing connection. The villagers began to notice the gentle change in Lena and Tomas. Some smiled knowingly, recognizing the respect and care they showed each other. Others whispered quietly, curious about the young couple's bond. Yet Lena and Tomas remained focused on each other, understanding that love required patience and the courage to grow without rushing. One evening, as the sun set and painted the sky in shades of orange and pink, Lena and Tomas sat together beneath their favorite mesquite tree. The wind rustled softly through the branches, carrying the scent of the desert and the distant sound of the village settling into evening calm. "I am grateful for your patience, Tomas," Lena said softly, "for your care, your honesty, and the way you respect my heart. I have learned that love is not just about desire, but about understanding, trust, and courage." Tomas smiled, squeezing her hand gently. "And I am grateful for your courage, Lena. You have shown me that honesty and openness are the foundation of love. You have taught me to value not just my feelings but yours, and to act with care and respect. Together we can face whatever comes, knowing that our bond is built on trust." They sat in comfortable silence, feeling the strength of their connection. In that quiet moment, Lena realized that the journey she had begun with a question under the stars had led her to a place of understanding and emotional depth. She no longer felt fear or doubt, only hope, trust, and a growing sense of certainty. As the days turned into weeks, Lena and Tomas continued to nurture their relationship. They shared small joys, the laughter of children playing nearby, the taste of fresh bread baked by Lena's mother, the sound of wind through the hills. Each moment was a thread woven into the fabric of their growing bond, a reminder that love was not just a single event but a continuous journey of care and respect. One morning, Tomas approached Lena with a small bundle of wildflowers he had picked from the desert hills. "These are for you," he said softly, holding them out with a gentle smile. "For all the courage you have shown, and for the trust you have placed in me. I want to honor that every day." Lena accepted the flowers, feeling a deep warmth in her heart. She realized that love was built on these small gestures, on consistent care and attention, on patience, and on shared respect. It was not a moment of passion alone, but a lifetime of choices, each one reflecting honesty, trust, and understanding. As the festival approached, the villagers observed Lena and Tomas with quiet approval. They saw not only the bond between the two young people, but also the respect and care that guided their actions. The elders, recognizing the sincerity of their feelings, offered quiet blessings and words of encouragement. Lena and Tomas felt the support of their community, understanding that love, when approached with honesty and respect, could align with tradition and values. On the night of the festival, Lena and Tomas walked together under the lantern-lit plaza, their hands intertwined. The music of drums and flutes filled the air, and the village was alive with celebration. They shared quiet smiles and gentle words, knowing that their bond had been strengthened not just by bold questions, but by the consistent care, respect, and understanding they had shown each other. At the edge of the plaza, they paused beneath the stars, the same stars that had watched over Lena when she first asked her daring question. Tomas turned to her, his eyes reflecting the light of the lanterns and the depth of his feelings. "Lena," he said softly, "I want you to know that my heart is yours. I promise to honor you, to respect you, and to walk beside you every step of the way. Together, we will face whatever comes, and together, we will grow." Lena smiled, tears of joy in her eyes. "And I promise to honor you, Tomas, to respect your heart, to share my life with you, and to grow with you. Together, we will face the world, knowing that trust, courage, and honesty guide us." They embraced, a simple gesture filled with the depth of promise and understanding. In that moment, Lena realized that love was not about rushing to a final answer, but about building a foundation of respect, patience, and shared courage. They had both grown through the journey, the fears, the questions, and the small victories of honesty and trust. The village watched silently, recognizing that the young couple had discovered something rare and precious. Lena and Tomas had navigated the complexities of emotions, community expectations, and personal growth to arrive at a bond that was strong, respectful, and full of promise. Their story, born of courage and nurtured through care, had found its first chapter of fulfillment. As the festival continued, Lena and Tomas walked together, their hands still intertwined, their hearts aligned in mutual understanding. The desert stretched endlessly around them, a symbol of both challenges and possibilities. They knew that the journey of love would continue, full of moments to learn, to grow, and to cherish. But they also knew that they were ready for each other, for the future, and for the life they would share together. And under the vast starlit sky, Lena whispered softly to herself, a smile on her lips. "Love is not just a question. It is courage, trust, and the choice to grow together." Tomas squeezed her hand gently as if to echo her thoughts, and together they stepped into the next chapter of their lives, ready to face whatever came with hearts full of hope, honesty, and understanding.